and lots more to come. So quick sort of snapshot of where we are. Slightly late now. Well, I suppose, yeah, version 1 just came out this week, so we're in business. So that means the mixer can be used as it is, a mixer on one rack. As we get into the end of this year, we will do version 1.1, which will support the expanders, so you can then have the additional I/O, the Waves card, version 3, 96K, and then hopefully some dynamic EQ, new preamp modeling, those sort of things. And then we'll start introducing more features into next year where we get fiber optic conversions, MIDI, GPIO connectors, and all those sort of things. So really good, just like iLive, a nice journey. Everything's up and running now, sounding great, but there's lots and lots of things coming through the pipe, when you get involved with this system. So that's what a single system could look like. You have one surface here connected to a rack with a cable or 2 cables. You can connect a Waves card, legacy card, do some recordings and playback. You can have a Me system connected in here to a hub and then have multiple Me stations. So that's a typical standalone system, very similar to an iLive. Then these systems can grow. You can link from one system to another by fitting some option cards. Here we fitted a Dante card in 2 of the racks. We joined those together with cables. Another surface, and now we have a sort of split between front of house and monitors or stage and broadcast, split by Dante. So yes, digital split solutions, very important to be able to do that. Now we are looking in the future at maybe running 2 surfaces off one rack as well. That's something which is going to be quite exciting. We've built the multiple PFLs to be able to handle that, but we need to get this mixer rolled out, get people working with it before we decide how they use 2 surfaces on one rack, because that could be quite tricky about where the data's stored, who has priority, how a scene's updated, how do you load in a show file. All these things need to be thought of and worked with the users before we can offer those. But again, the capabilities are there. You've got 128 input channels of processing. So we'd like to think, yeah, conference centers, those sort of applications. You can have the I/O where you need to have it, remote control where you need to have it, networking control, and even surfaceless control. So you can have just one rack doing the job of all this sort of thing, and put the surface away, have nothing visible just during the daytime, just some controllers. We'll also have a comprehensive range of user files, so you can have user profiles, so only certain people can use certain features. They will log in, they will recall a scene which belongs to them, the layout changes, all these kind of permissions and things are in there. We already have those kind of things now in the GLD and Q. Everything can be customized and laid out, and the way the controls work. It just gets better and better. We've got a fantastic support system. Our distributors in the countries are amazing, really good partners. We have, obviously, local support is the first line, but we also have, anytime you want to open up a technical support ticket by email or by Skype, or we can have TeamViewer running, we can do joined up things. We like to hear from people. We're never going to turn anybody away. We're always available. Obviously, we may be in a different time zone, so you should always use your distributor, but we've also got digital community of people on forums, people swapping ideas, people swapping libraries and files and helping each other. So we've grown these things over the last few years of using iLive to give you this experience, which is now available to everybody. And we're going to be handing a sort of a training program as well for certified engineering. If people want to learn how to drive this thing and know all the deep stuff and how to do all the patching, all the ins and outs, and become a supportive engineer, then we will do a sort of program for that. But the good news is you don't have to be, a qualified engineer to walk up and mix it. You can mix it very much, like I say, like a GLD or a Q. If you can operate those, then there you go. Obviously, our website is going to be the place to go to get the user guides and new firmware releases and all those sorts of things and tools. We've got some various helpful things there. That's a typical sort of thing that we look at there. really just trying to show how our mixer compares to some other people's mixers. You can see if you want to look at something like, which mixers are using FPGA or which mixers are using DSP, which have got 96K sampling rate. You can see there. The dLive can work at 96. The Yamaha CL's working at 44.1 or 48. Soundcrafts, there you go. There's the FPA Digico, that can work at 96 and up to 192. Midas Pro 1, Pro 2, Pro 9 can work at 96. The SC48 profiles a 48K console. So you can see quite quickly how we are, well, in some cases, the best system latency, 0.6 of a millisecond. There's nothing to beat it. 2 seconds on a Soundcraft. 2 milliseconds, sorry, on a Soundcraft VI. Yes, 2 seconds would be a bit of a problem. 2.5 on a Yamaha. We're really got a very, very tight mixing system there. Number of processing inputs, 128. Just look at the others, 64, 96, 128 in a Digico, 60 times 2. We're up there in terms of very, very capable stuff. If you want more channels, you can go up to something like here, the big SSL, the big Avids, but they're 3 times as much money. They are very expensive top-end systems. So if you're finding something that compares to it, then you're spending a lot more money. So that's the message we'd like you to take home today, is that we're doing all this for, a very, very good price. Maximum number of orgs or groups or matrix is 64. Again, only the biggest systems can do that. Running the system in 5.1 mains, only the top mixers do that. GEQ on every mix out, not using any effects. Well, let's see. Yes, the Soundcraft can do it. Digico can't do that. Midas can't do that. Avid can do it on their big consoles. So, that's got enough processing there on the outputs, effects engine. So you can see, and so on and so on. So we've really done our homework. We're giving you a fantastic, processing power where you need it, really cost effective, scalable, patchable. Very, very exciting time. So we're going to take a break now. And then, please feel free to kind of walk up, ask some questions, whatever. And then after the break, I'll kind of take you through the mixer and we'll sort of do some assigning and see what the different widgets do, and we'll have a good look at the interface. Thank you. Do with it. So you can see the surface this size is laid out in 3 banks. We call these banks of faders. Each one has 6 layers. So you have moving faders. They can be different things in different places. So some people's systems, you have to use the desk as it's built. DCAs are here, inputs, outputs. On this desk, you can do whatever you want with it. But the most important thing, probably, before you do anything else, is decide what kind of mixing structure you have inside the desk. And here on the mix rack, we choose on the screen there, we're following the screen, we can see mixer config. And that's where you choose the number of groups, effect sends, orgs, monos, and stereos. So you adjust those things here. So if you want a mono subgroup, you can dial it up from 0. If you want a couple of subgroups for vocals or that sort of thing, mono or stereo, you adjust them here. The number of sends for internal effects. Remember, we have 16 internal effects, so you could have up to 16 mono sends, or you could do stereo sends. You can also use the effects as inserts, so whatever. So you choose the number of those, and then obviously auxiliaries could be used for mixes and foldback on stage. So if we start off with something like 8 mono sends and 4 stereo sends, again, you adjust it. On the right-hand side of the screen, it will show you here the number of mixes remaining and the number of effects is. Remember, you've got 64 to play with. So basically, you build the kind of mixer you want to build. Number of matrix, mono, stereo for outputs, and then you can choose the master bus configuration, left, right, and stuff. So that's how you create the mixer. When you finish, you press apply. That will reboot stuff. Audio comes back up in a couple of seconds, and off you go with the new mixer. You can also choose the number of stereo inputs here. So on that screen there, you have left and right channels like 1 and 2 or 19 and 20. You can then create those into stereo channel. That will create one channel with one fader, stereo EQ, stereo compressor, etc. So if you need stereo channels, then you can do that. And you can see right up to 128 inputs, 3 stereo channels we've chosen on that one. So that's the kind of building blocks of building the mixer, and that doesn't change. That's fixed in the show file. That's creating the mixer architecture. And after that, the other stuff will change in scenes. So that's the mix config page. The layout of the surface you can customize. You press the button here. This drives the right-hand screen. Right-hand screen follows these buttons. If there's nothing pressed, then it's a home screen which has some basic information, software version and the locks and the users. If you press surface, control, then we can do strip assign. And then this also works very much like a GLD mixer. So at the moment, we have some inputs here on this side and some inputs in the middle. So we've got 12 inputs, channel 13 to 24. If we want to have our DCA groups to control everything in the middle, like the American system, then we can simply go to the list here, choose DCA, and then block select, and then we can say have there's 12 channels available there, middle bank, DCAs 1 to 12, and let's just drag these down onto the strip. So now you can see it's gone red, and we have all the DCAs in the middle. So it doesn't change any audio, it's non-destructive, you can have anything anywhere. So if you want DCAs up here, and aux sends here, you can just move things around. You can drag and drop and change these things literally with your fingers like this. Everything's available. Inputs, effects. There's also special channels called monitor, which allow you to have dedicated controls for in-ear monitors and wedges so that you can assign mixes to faders. So if you're mixing with a wedge here to control the mix, then you'll have a master fader to control the level of that wedge. You've also got headphone control, and you can get the headphone control to also follow this fader if you're using in-ears. And then you can set up a priority between ears mixes, wedge mixes, and they auto-select on the outputs. So you can put those kind of things everywhere you want. And of course, this can all be saved in scenes. So just for one song, you can have a layout like this with certain effects. And you may have the drums here with the drum effects. And then save it in a scene, recall the next scene, and the layout can change. And the same thing with operators. Different people log in. They can also have different scenes which get recalled as they log in. So that's the kind of strip stuff. Remember, you've got 6 layers, which you can go through here. If you press that button, often if you press the setup key, it will give you clues. If you press sync select layer with surface, then that should, as you bring up the different layers, it will correspond on this side here. So as we bring up the different layers, you can see them come up on screen. So the whole thing can be customized how you want. If you're left-handed and you want your DCAs over this side, not a problem. You just basically get the DCAs and drag them over to this one. So all the colors and everything, you can see that. Now, again, mentioning colors, you select a channel. If you touch this button here, we'll swap to that screen. If the camera can do it, let's see. Surface screen, mirror left, apply. So this VGA output can flip from side to side. So we select an input, basically touch this button up here, up comes the colors. So if you want to change the color to a blue color, it'll go blue. If you want to start typing in the name of something, then, or you can already have some pre-ones done here, like kick drums done there, and you make it blue, press apply. Channel automatically will then change color, and the name will appear in there, and you can choose these as you wish. And inputs, outputs. So if we go to an auxiliary mix, press send for, and you want that one to be yellow, then the color will change accordingly, and you can change the names of the person doing that mix. So once you've got the configuration done, the layout, then you're in business. You've got the mixer kind of laid out how you want to do it. After that, basically, there are some basic rules. These buttons here in the middle, you have 4 buttons on every channel. Can you zoom in a bit?